Hi guys! So today's video, I hope I'm gonna be just, a functional human being because I'm really tired and I'm like fighting sleep right now. But I would like to film this video before maybe taking a nap. Recently someone asked me why I haven't been posting any selfies on Instagram, and it's something that has come back a few times. And it's also something I've been thinking a lot about. So after this question, I thought, you know what, it's actually maybe something that I could be, I could do a video about. I just want to say it's not something that I feel necessarily very strongly about. It's also not something that I feel like I'm completely, convinced 100% of this or that. I'm just like, questioning this and just thinking about it. And I'm not saying that anyone should think the same. It's very personal and, it's to each their own. I'm just sharing with you a personal thought process that has been happening for me. The angle that I'd like to take for this video is more why I have stopped and why I think that ultimately for a lot of people taking selfies does not make them any more confident and does not make them happier. The first thing I want to say is that it's pretty obvious and pretty clear that most people who take selfies are females. So it's not to say that males don't take selfies, but I'm pretty convinced that a majority of women take selfies and a majority of young women take selfies. Not to say that there's anything wrong with it, but I'm pretty sure that you can't deny that it has it has a meaning and it holds some meaning. So for me, it's when you're young, and when I say young, I think like a teenager, maybe 14 to 20, I think that's when you will post the most selfies. And even when I think of myself, when I look back on those years of my life, that's probably when I was taking the most pictures of everything, but also of myself, and taking a lot of selfies and, on Facebook or on MySpace, or then when, Instagram happened. I was posting a lot of selfies, and I think it's not an unusual thing at all. And the reason why I think we post that many selfies when we're that young is because we're a lot more fragile, and we're a lot more in the discovery and exploration of ourselves. So what we need is also sort of approval, because we're being, as young women, I'm focusing on women, as young women, we're entering this world where we are, we start to be sexualized and desired, and while we've always been around, but we're too young to be the victim of, is starting to have, some impact on us, which is the pressure of looking good. And obviously, as much as it's not said, explicitly, and it's not like everyone is telling you this with very abrupt and frank and direct words, but that's what society tells you, is that you're not encouraged to be smart, you're not encouraged to be strong, you're not encouraged to be courageous or funny or whatever. You're mostly encouraged to be beautiful and to be pretty and to be polite and to be, to look well behaved. So we are starting to very much internalize, even though it's cited earlier, but very strongly, the fact that we should look good, and that looking good and being desired and being approved of by others is a sign of success, and is also a sign of happiness, and the sign that we are doing something right. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing, actually. So with the social media, obviously, it's like the perfect tool to ask to others, am I okay? Like, am I okay? Do I look okay? Do I look like what I should be looking like? And there's also this part of like, we're discovering, ourselves, but also physically. And I think it's when you start to really appreciate the way you look and experiment with your style. So you want to keep trace of that, you want to keep memories of that, and it's important for you to have a look at yourself, which is, I believe, positive, but I'm not sure that posting it on social media is positive on the other hand. Women, especially at that age, are like, lost, or not necessarily lost, but they're in this very contradictory and paradoxical situation where they're being pressured to look good, and they're being told that's what they should be aiming at, and that's what is gonna make them worthy for the most part. But they're also very much told that they should not be too sexual, that they should not be vain, that they should not be shallow, and they should not take pleasure in looking beautiful and looking good. And like, it's fine as long as they're an object of desire, an object of beauty, an object of pleasure, and an object of sexualization. As soon as they start to be the subject, it's not positive anymore. So that's why women are very much blamed for posting that many selfies, because I think a lot of men, or I mean, not necessarily men, but society is kind of scared of it, because it's like women taking control. Women choose the way they post, choose the pictures they upload, choose to be wearing a lot of clothes or no clothes at all. They choose how much they want to post, and it's kind of like taking control back. Whereas when you're in the street, the male gaze is very strong, even in movies and in fiction of any sort, and that's something different on social media. You're the one who does it. But even this positive thing has its limit, because we can ask ourselves and we can wonder, to which extent is it really us that decide what we post and how we post and how often we post and that kind of stuff? The thing is, when you look at selfies, they're very much alike. There is this weird thing where a lot of the positioning of the body, positioning of the hand, hair that's falling a certain way, eyes that are open a certain way, mouth that's half open, smile that's kind of like very studied. The editing process as well is not necessarily a positive thing. I don't think it's very positive, to be honest. And I think it's a bit sad, because in fact, women are not necessarily using a full control over their own image and their own photographs. They're mostly, I believe, reproducing with more freedom patterns that are not their own and that they have not come up with. And so when you look at selfies, you don't necessarily see the person. You're seeing an image of the person. Well, that's obviously, yeah, but you're seeing an image of the image of the person, and this image is not necessarily going against the beauty standards. It's not going against sexualization. It's not necessarily taking control back. And I've seen this a lot among my friends, where you have people that post selfies and they like themselves in selfies, but with half of their face showing, or this filter, or this much editing, or this very special pose. And when you take candid pictures or natural pictures, a lot of people don't like the way they look on these pictures, and I think it's very sad. I think it's also because we are in a society that's so contrived. Like, everything that we do is thought through, is organized, is a part of a pattern and a scheme that we're just building up and obeying to. And there's no more room, or very, very little room, for spontaneity and for honesty and for genuine interaction and just also representation of ourselves. Because I don't believe that so many people would want to look the same, want to pose the same, want to have the same angle, the same sort of picture taken, And you're so happy when you get likes and when you get positive comments, but do you need those? Do you really need those to be happy and to feel happy? I don't think I'm over exaggerating or taking a personal case and making it a generality when I say that it's not rare that people feel empty if they don't receive that amount of likes, that amount of comments, or if they don't post as regularly as they used to, and they start to miss the valorization and approval of others. And I don't think we should live our lives like this. I don't necessarily think that posting selfies is bad, that's not what I'm saying, but I think people that post selfies are the ones who need to do that in order to gain something out of it. And I don't really feel that I need something anymore when it comes to my physical appearance. I don't need any kind of reassurance, any kind of approval, any kind of valorization, any kind of even just reassurance for myself that that's the way I look. I don't need this anymore. I know who I am. I know my body. I know my face. I know the way I look, and I'm busy and thinking of other things now. I'm not saying this in a patronizing way or a scornful way at all. That's not what I'm saying, but personally, when I was posting selfies, it was sometimes because I had a bad day or because I was feeling a bit down, and I knew that getting positive comments from people would cheer me up. But I think it's kind of shallow and it's kind of vain. Now when I have a bad day, I kind of turn to others and try to make them happy, and that makes me happy. Or I try to analyze why I feel this bad. I also think that everything that's related to physical appearance is bound to change and to just fade away, and that's not a very deep and a very true representation of who I am as a person in a way, and I don't want to gain my confidence, my happiness, and my comfort from this. I want to gain it from more solid and sustainable parts of who I am, if that makes any sense. And I have come to feel very detached from the whole selfie thing. Like, I will occasionally post a picture with my friends, and that's a selfie, like with my friends, but it's a very, at least for me, that's a very candid picture. I'm not like planning it, I don't make the face, or I don't try to make it appear as I'm having a lot of fun. I think maybe I'm being old, I'm becoming old, I don't know, but I'm kind of not so sure about the whole staging of pictures. It's not something new. I'm not, breaking the news with this, but I don't really feel comfortable with this. And I don't know, I just don't like it very much, to be honest. And yeah, or I could post a selfie, but it would be a selfie to say something or to embody something. It would be a selfie to show my natural face, or to show a real smile, or to show stretch marks, or to convey a positive message for people and put my face on it so that it would feel more personal. And that's about it, really. So that's purely personal, and that's not something that I'm trying to advocate for or convince people of. It's just what I'm thinking of and what my reasoning has been for the past few months. I would be really interested in having your opinion on this, guys. Let me know what you think and what you think of what I just said in the video. I hope this was interesting. Don't hesitate to check out my Patreon if you like this, and to check my Instagram, Facebook, and whatever if you want to get more of me. That sounded a bit wrong, but that's fine. And I shall see you later. Bye!